Do you believe in ghosts or not? Do you see them? Have they touched you? It's like, well, what else doesn't touch you that exists, you know? And like, it's that thing, if it's real for you, then what the hell else is there?
In my opinion, the best ghost stories are the subtle ones. The ones where the ghost stories aren't about spooking you, but about grief. Where what's scarier isn't the imagery that's popping out on screen, but the unknown. The fear of not knowing why something is happening or even who's making it happen. They definitely may be considered more artsy, but for those that it connects with, I think it tends to have a longer impact than the horror movies that just come and go on a weekly basis. Just this year we had a ghost story which covered the perspective of time and the meaning of life through Casey Affleck's Sheet Holes as a Ghost. And in Personal Shopper, we get the perspective of a twin losing her brother as portrayed by Kristen Stewart. Quick note. Just because an actress was a huge part of a franchise you don't like, doesn't mean she can't ever be good in something. You do still have to get over her mumbling, though.
I don't know what the fuck energy is.
But for those who don't know the story, let me break it down before getting into some of the theories that people have and then ultimately explaining that ending. So like I said, Kristen Stewart plays the character of Maureen, who had a twin brother named Louis. He died of a heart defect that she also lives with and could take her at any moment. But like her twin brother, she considers herself to be a medium and is hoping to connect with him in some way and complete the oath that they made to each other, that depending on who died first, they would have to reach beyond the grave and be able to feel that connection. And obviously Louis died first. In between doing her Luigi's Mansion inspecting, she also works as a personal shopper for a high-end model, which means that she pretty much goes out and tries on clothes for her since she has a similar figure. It's a pretty decent job, but it only pays well if your boss is alive, which the model isn't halfway through the movie because she gets killed. This is where three options come into play. 1. Is Maureen crazy like the police think she is and she's the one who did it? 2. Was it the model's obsessive boyfriend who knew he was going to get dumped so he did something to stop that? Or 3. Could it be the ghost? Well, after getting a series of text messages from an unknown number who she believes to be her brother, we realized that it was the boyfriend who killed the model and he was just trying to blame Maureen. In fact, everything Maureen saw was kind of in her imagination. There were no ghosts. It was just her way of coping with her loneliness and despair. And I know some people will argue with the theory that, hey, you know, maybe she died when she met up with the boyfriend and that's why it seems like she's a ghost, but you know, she kind of interacts with people later on. And you can also argue that no, the ghosts have to be real because they interact and other people see what they leave behind. But the thing is, according to the director himself, he kind of breaks it down to tell you it was all in her mind.
To me, it's kind of pretty clear that Maureen finds some sort of reconciliation, that she realizes that all this while there were no ghosts, her brother was not really speaking to her.
Oh my God, he's answering a question right now. This is crazy.
But it was her own path to find herself and somehow survive the loss of her brother and redefine her identity, not as the twin of Louis.
So let me explain it a bit further. There are several moments where we do see ghosts on screen, but we have to remember that Maureen is serving as an unreliable narrator, meaning that everything that we're seeing on screen is really just in her mind, even though it seems like we're looking at it from a third person. The ectoplasm that we see puked out in the beginning of the movie is in her mind. The scratch marks that we see could have been an animal or self-made. The door that we see left open ajar during the murder scene comes from the boyfriend who's trying to manipulate her with the info she herself gave him.
It's an intuition thing, it's a feeling. You see this door, it's only like slightly ajar.
The scene where she exits the hotel as a ghost because we can't see anything is really just a reflection of what she feels inside. Her brother appearing to drop the glass behind her really is just her explanation of what she thinks is happening in her mind, and that's how we're viewing it, as she recounts it, mixing her emotions in to try to make sense of something, and of course trying to connect it with her brother. All of this leads up to the ending where we've seen throughout that the movie has a lot of moments where it's fading to black, almost making the scenes feel incomplete, but really kind of relaying how Maureen is feeling, that a part of her is missing. And like the director says, the movie is about loneliness, and the movie is about trying to make a connection with someone who's gone, trying to make a connection with the afterlife, trying to make a connection with a mysterious person on a phone. But right at the end, once she finds clarity, once she finally feels like she's not in the dark, that's where things look up and it fades to something brighter.
Bless, is it you? Or is it just me?